War games have always been a staple in the video game industry. We've seen war depicted in countless ways, but few games bring the chaotic intensity of warfare like Rising Storm 2. Released in 2017 by Antimatter Games and Tripwire Interactive, Rising Storm 2 immerses players in the brutal, unforgiving conflict of the Vietnam War. In this video, we're going to be figuring out whether this game is still worth playing in 2024 and what sets it apart from others like it. And I want to give a quick tip for anyone who's considering buying this game. So once you're all set, you hit the main menu, you want to jump into the warfare, you go to the server browser. Never join the mega servers. To make a long story short, they're just going to download a bunch of viruses on your computer, and you don't want that, do you? And one thing that I actually found out myself was some of the servers that just say Rising Storm 2 Vietnam server are also mega servers. So just make sure when you are on the server list, click on the server. Make sure on the bottom right you can see player names and actual people in there, and if it looks legit, then try it out. If not, and you accidentally join in a mega server, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I've done it a couple times and I've just turned off the game and shut off my PC real quick, and it's been fine so far. Now, to start off, I want to say the customization in this game is really good. There are tons of vests, shirts, helmets, sunglasses, tattoos, watches, tons of customizable accessories that you can get once you rank up. Now, this game came out in 2016, I believe, and unfortunately they do not update it anymore. But for someone like me who's just found this game, there is a ton of content to explore and check out. There are a handful of DLCs that they have, and also the base game accessories that you can unlock when you do rank up. So that is pretty nice for the newbies still finding this game today. Now, one of the main things that I can give this game credit for is its effort to try to immerse the player as much as possible. For example, if you're on the American side, you're going to be armed with napalm strikes, artillery, helicopters, and attack helicopters to help you out on the ground. Whereas if you're playing on the Viet Cong side, you really have to stick to that guerrilla fighter role, placing traps and setting squad tunnels for your team to spawn on. Now, you may be thinking that doesn't really seem too fair of a game to play if one side is better equipped than the other, but this game really does do a great job at balancing that out and sticking to the authenticity of the Vietnam War itself. And I think that's one aspect of the game that I can really appreciate that I don't really see in a lot of others. Now, in the base game of Rising Storm, there are 10 maps available. The maps are set in a variety of locations that reflect the different types of terrain encountered during the Vietnam War, from dense jungles and rice paddies to urban environments and military outposts. And on top of that, you can join servers that have plenty of custom maps too. So it's pretty nice to know that even though the devs aren't actually updating the game anymore, the fan base is still making maps and creating new content that we can love and enjoy. Another thing I love about this game is it has local and squad chat, so you can actually communicate with your team and make up a plan or strategy to win the fight. Now, I'm pretty new to the game still, but in my time playing, I've come across quite a few people who have mics and want to talk. A lot of the times they don't really want to talk, but I'd say my best advice is just to find the right server and find the right group of people, and I can almost guarantee you'll find somebody. One of my favorite elements of this game is the realism. You spawn with, I think, at most 2 bandages, and if you get shot in the leg, for example, you can bandage up yourself, but that area on your body is still going to be wounded. Whereas if you got hit in the head or the chest or somewhere important, it's done and your screen just goes black instantly. In addition to the game's authentic mechanics, Rising Storm 2 captures the cultural atmosphere of the Vietnam War era. The soundtrack is filled with classic 60s and 70s rock tracks that really pulls the player into the time period. Songs from CCR and the Animals play over the death and destruction on the battlefield, juxtaposing the upbeat tunes with the horrors of war, a grim reminder of the real conflict. The game's aesthetics, from the designs of the uniforms to the war-torn environments, further reinforce this immersion. Tripwire and Antimatter didn't just create a shooter, they created a historical setting with respect and attention to detail. Now, like I said, the devs aren't updating this game anymore, but the community is, and that allows the game to keep evolving, keeping it fresh and relevant years after its initial release. The active fanbase continues to host events, tournaments, and even create custom maps to ensure that players always have something new to experience. In conclusion, in my opinion, I do think that this game is worth playing in 2024 and going forward. The game has almost been out for 10 years now, and obviously it's not going to be perfect. I think the graphics could be a bit more polished, but at the end of the day, it is a really fun game to experience still. And if you have a PC and you've been looking for a new war game, especially a Vietnam war game, then I think you should definitely check this one out. There aren't really a lot of Vietnam war games anyways, and I think this one really is just underappreciated and deserves the love that it should have gotten. If you want to see more of this game, let me know down below in the comments, and make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. My name is Captain Kid, and I'll see you all in the next one.